Okay, welcome back to part 2 of Revell 125th 67 Chevelle video build. So we left off part 1, getting all our body ready for paint, painted, clear coated, decaled a lot. And here we are in part 2 with probably my most hated part of modelling, part cleanup. So I used to do these section by section because I used to make my videos one by one. I get to a stage in a build, stop, make the video, carry on. Now I record everything as one block and edit it all together. That then means I am cleaning everything up in one go of all the parts, because normally I just do the engine, make a video on the engine, or the interior, make a video on the interior. So just clean up a section of part at a time. Now for speed, I literally clean up every part of the body, and it truly is my most despised part of modelling. It's just so boring to do, and it just seems to be something I'm always doing because the amount of kits I build. But it is the most efficient way of building. I've just put the kit wheels together to have a look. Look at that. How epic are those huge tyres? This thing is going to look phenomenal. So this kind of spurred me along thinking, yeah, that's going to look good. The body's looking great. The 2K is looking good as well. So, yeah, we're going to clean up all these parts in one go. We've got some Tamiya sponge and thinny stick sanders. And we're going to go round and lightly sand everything, removing any imperfections, sprue points, seam lines, anything at all to get it ready for primer. So, again, exactly with the body, preparation is key here. So, just make sure you do as good a job as you can. Lots of small parts to do as well. So, we're going to use a variety of thinny sticks and sponges as well. And just work our way around all the parts till they're all done. We've also got all our chrome parts we need in a tub at the top there as well. We're going to de-chrome those later on using some bleach and then paint them up with the Pro Scale chrome system. So a lot of work. Now a little tip on parts like this. So this is the rear suspension with the spring. The spring has seam lines in between every coil. So the easiest way to get rid of them is to load them up with Tamiya Extra Thin, let that melt the seam line, and then hit it with a brush with some fresh Extra Thin on, and you'll find after a few passes it literally dissolves the seam line, and it's a quick, simple way of getting rid of seam lines on parts like this. Put it to one side to dry, and again you're ready for primer and ready to go. Now the exhaust I didn't like on these, so I drilled into them and opened them up with my reamer. So again, apologies for the snottiness. I have blocked sinuses and they are absolutely driving me insane. So yeah, we drilled through it with a 2.5mm drill bit, opened it up with our reamer, and then just sanded the end nice and flush as well. And these look a lot better like this. Whether they're totally correct for the car, I don't know, but I think they look good. We've got the engine halves clamped together. We're going to apply some Tamiya Extra Thin glue. So don't forget, my Tamiya Extra Thin is a mix of Tamiya Extra Thin and EMA Plasti Weld, which is like a mech derivative adhesive. Although it's technically not an adhesive because it melts the plastic. But a 50-50 mix of this with the Tamiya gives a hotter glue that doesn't flash off as quick, so you get a bit more working time with the parts. And I've been using this for years, and it's a very effective glue. And it's literally a 50-50 mix of both chemicals put in the Tamiya bowl. And it does work very well. There is a video on the channel somewhere. So the chrome parts we're going to strip. We've got some Domestos bleach. This is one of the most popular brands of bleach in the UK. We're in a plastic tub, and this is going to disappear in your eyes, before your eyes, in about 60 seconds. So we're just going to cover all the parts in the bleach, and let the bleach do its job. And as I say, you'll literally see it dissolve. This is in real time. You'll literally see it dissolve before your eyes. As you can see, it's slowly starting to go. There it goes. Like I said, this is real time. Now, with chrome, I've noticed it either takes it off instantly, or it can take days, or not work at all. Every chrome is different from all manufacturers. Revell's normally pretty reliable, and chrome will get it off. We don't get a lot of the chemicals you guys do in the United States due to our laws. We can't have anything with ammonia in, or anything caustic for our kitchen cleaners, really. Oven cleaner I've used in the past as well, but it's a pretty nasty chemical. So bleach, although you got to be careful with bleach as well, is probably my more reliable one. There you go. In less than 60 seconds, the chrome is all gone. So this will be all taken out. I'll leave it in there for a little bit longer to make sure every remnant's gone. I'll then take it out, rinse every part under a tap, make sure you don't lose any parts down the sink, dry it all off, and then we'll come back and clean it all up. And here we go. So all the parts have got a sprue point. So we're going to clean those all up, and then we're going to mount them all in preparation for our chrome system. So if you've not seen my chrome system before from ProScale, it's a 4-part chrome system. So you spray down a black base coat, which I'm going to use Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. You then put the chrome on. Sorry, no, you do the black, sorry. You then do the 2K clear coat. You then do the chrome, the clear sealer, and then a final 2K clear coat at the end. And it gives probably the most realistic painted chrome finish you can get, in my opinion. Now, we're mounting all the parts in a multiple of ways here. We're either drilling holes in accessible places, super gluing things on, or using white tack to hold things in place. Over in the spray booth, we've got our Water CR3 again, and we've got some Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. So this is the Mr. Surfacer from Gunsanyo, also known as Mr. Hobby. And it's thinned about 60% with Mr. Hobby Level and Thinner. And we're going to put a couple of light coats of this down, just building it up nice and slow to give us A, a nice primer coat, and B, a nice black coat of paint as well. So just make sure all the surfaces are prepped as you were doing with the full-size car as well. We want a nice smooth surface here because it will give us our best chrome surface we can get. Now we've got all the parts mounted up on our stand there, so we're going to go through and prime everyone nice and evenly, and then we'll come back in a minute and get them clear coated. So there we go, there's one part done. Just on to the very last part here now, and everything is nicely done here. It's looking good. We've just got one, I think it's the front grille to do. So just be careful here, don't be knocking parts off, just take your time. Everything's done, we can pop that out of the way and move on to the next part. So we're going to prime all the interior parts, going to be painted black, because we're going with, I think we went with Napa black on the interior of this. We're going to prime with the Mr. Surfacer 1500 black as well. So we've got our roll cage. Again, just a couple of light coats on each part just to build it up. Again, Mr. Surfacer 1500, beautiful lacquer paint. Flashes off really quick. Literally by the time you're done painting one side and come back, the other part's ready to go. I do love lacquers. They are very, very forgiving paints. As long as you take into account the smell, which is what they extracted the respirators for, they are very, very reliable and fast working paint as well. Literally dries in seconds. And very reliable with different paint finishes as well. Nice seats in the kit as well. They got a nice bucket seat in there. And then I'm just going to go around and prime all the parts. They're going to be dark leather interior, LP5 semi-gloss, or metallic will all get primed in Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. So, working our way through. These U-Star stands I've had for years. I must have had these for about 8 years now. They have painted hundreds of models. And they're still helpful to this day. Literally like a sponge backing. I know you can use different things. I paid like £8 for 4 of these about 8 years ago. So I've definitely had my money's worth. So the engine bay, the engine was painted in Tamiya white primer. That's been decanted out this rattle can and thinned about 20% with Tamiya lacquer thinner retarder. And we've got our ProScale Paints GM engine orange here. And we're going to put a nice light coat building it up slowly over all the model. Barely any paint going down there at all. And again, by the time we've done one side and we come back to the other, it's already flashed off and we can just keep going. Now the transmission, I'll hand paint at the end. We've got some nice Tamiya enamel paints there to do at the end. And as you can see, after a few light coats of the GM engine orange, we've got our paint coverage there and it's looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, onto the interior, we've got our Napa black interior. And again, just nice light coats. Because you're putting black on black, the coverage is super quick, so it doesn't need a lot of coats. It will cover really fast. And I do love our Napa black colour. It's by far one of my favourite leather colours. It's not quite black, it's not quite grey, it's just in between. It's got a nice tone to it. And yeah, this interior is going to look good. Common black on black, which is quite common for cars of this era, I believe. So yeah, makes life a lot easier in painting them, because it's literally like a sea of black inside. There we go. Same on our seats as well. These are coming up really well. They are really nice seats. One thing that did annoy me, and I didn't notice it really, was there's an ejector pin mark right in the back of the seat, just at the top. I don't know why. I was blind to it, didn't see it, didn't get rid of it, and it's there. So it's, as Bob Ross says, it's just a happy little tree. Just a little mistake that's there. You won't see it. It's going to be tucked in the interior. You'd have to really look in there to see that. But annoying to miss such an obvious part of the kit. Same on the interior as well. There are a few ejector pin marks, but we don't need to worry about these because we're going to flock the interior. Flock, yeah. Including all of those horrendous speakers and the ejector pin marks on the partial shelf. So I'm literally just painting the Napa black in any areas that won't be flocked. So make a flocking good job of it. There we go. That's looking good. Yes, just a couple of light coats and that is done. And then we go with our dashboard. We're going with LP5 on the dashboard, going a slightly different colour. So just build this up as normal with that as well. Steering wheel the same as well. All LP5, just to give it a bit of a tonal difference against the leather colour. I think it looks a little bit better. And hopefully it'll break apart the monotony of the colour a little bit. Like I say, they are a sea of black, these things. But like I say, hopefully this will just break it apart a little bit, make it look a little bit more interesting. As you can see, we've got all the colours we used at the back so far. So we've got Mr. Hobby, we've got Tamiya LP5, Napa Black from ProScale, GM Engine Orange as well. And now we're here with ProScale Metallic Steel on the exhaust headers. Now, I think I made a bit of a mistake on these exhaust headers. I think where the actual headers end at the top, there's like a plate. I think that should have been engine colour. Now, I'm not an expert on these engines at all. I've never seen one in real life. I know nothing about them. But when it come to add the ignition leads later on, I was like, that's actually a part of the actual block itself. So I think I have painted that wrong. So apologies. Like I say, I don't know anything about these cars at all. I just enjoy modelling them. Yeah, I think it should have been engine colour, that one, but it is what it is. It's another happy little mistake, and we'll just roll with it and go with it. Some ProScale bright aluminium now on the intake manifold as well. We're going to use the same colour on the rear diff, which holds our wheelie bar as well. Again, whether right or wrong, I don't know. It's a custom car, so I'm doing it the way I'd want it done. I did contemplate chroming this, but I didn't do it in the end. I just chromed the wheelie bars themselves. Now, this is our chrome work. So we're going to 2K all this. This is the exact same mix we use for the body. 2-to-1 mix of clear and hardener and 5% of activator. I'm just going to clear coat it exactly the same way we did the body. A couple of semi-wet coats and then a final wet coat at the end. Just to give us a nice 2K black finish. And this will give us the perfect base for our chrome system as we come to paint that. Like I say, just take your time. Same safety precautions, respirators on, boots on, in the room on my own. I'll leave the room while the off gas is. Just take your time. And because you're doing multiple small parts here, be especially careful that A, you don't knock them off their support and drop them, because it will ruin your hard work. And B, don't touch any parts together because they will stick like you wouldn't believe. And also be aware that the more coat you put down, the stickier those two fingers, your index finger and thumb, will become. And you'll be surprised how well those cocktail sticks stick to you. And I've dropped a few parts like that in the past. Now, the 2K's dried. We're probably about 6 hours later now. And I've got my ProScale Paint Chrome. And we're going to spray this at about 18 psi through our CR3 Revolution. And we're going to put down a couple of light coats to begin with. Just kind of like mist coats. I should have my colour cup lid on. I kind of get a bit anxious here watching the paint swirl around. The colour cup should be on my lid. We're just going to put a couple of light coats down. And then for the third coat, we'll put a heavier coat down, and that's what will give us our beautiful chrome finish. So because we're putting the chrome over 2K, which is super smooth, it gives us that beautiful reflective chrome finish. So to get the best out of this system, you have to follow this way. I do have a standalone video on the channel. It is out there to watch should you wish. And if you're going to use our chrome system, I'd highly recommend watching it. But it is the ultimate chrome system for me, this, because no other chromes can you handle. This is almost indestructible at the end. Because it is 2K clear coated, you can do whatever you want to it. Whereas all of the chromes, they just rub off on your hand. I know a lot of people spray Molotov. I have in the past. And the AK and the Revell spray can. It just wipes off on your hand. With ours, you get a beautiful chrome finish. It's sealed and then 2K'd, and it is literally impervious to everything. So there we go. There's the second coat down. This is the final one now, so I'm going to go a little bit heavier on this one. Just to ensure we've got a nice, even chrome coat over everything. Make sure you get around the backs and the sides as well. Another important step. So once all the parts are chromed, we recommend leaving, I think it says half an hour. I normally leave about an hour. And we've now got the chrome sealer. So we're using the HPC Plus for this one. And this chrome sealer needs to be sprayed on in really nice light mist coats. Literally spray it so you can just see the mist landing on the model. And we're going to do 3 light coats of this evenly all over. And then we're going to let that dry and come back in 2K later. Now, don't clean this out your airbrush with anything like a base. Use an alcohol-based cleaner. So either ProScale degreaser will do it, UMP airbrush cleaner, or IPA will do it as well. Lacquer thinner won't clean this out your airbrush properly. So make sure you clean it out with an alcohol-based cleaner. Like I say, just nice light mist coats. Probably putting on 3 light coats in total. What this does, this protects the chrome from the 2K later on. And that's how our system works. It's pretty magical, to be honest. It's really good. But this is the most important step of them all. You have to do nice light mist coats. If you apply it too heavy, you'll lose the chrome effect. So you don't be going in too heavy, just really nice light coats. Now that's been drying for another half an hour. And here we have the 2K. Now the important part of this step is it's 2 parts of clear to 1 part hardener. So 10 ml of clear to 5 milliliters of hardener. There's no thinner goes in this at all. You can't put the thinner in because it will eat through the sealer and ruin the chrome. Well, that's the theory behind it anyway. So it's just hardener and clear here. Mix it together. Again, throw that pipette forever. We're not going to reuse that ever again. And then we can come in and do the usual 2K job. A couple of light wet coats, well, a couple of semi-wet coats, and then a final wet coat at the end until you're happy. And what you'll see is where the sealer hazed over the chrome, the 2K should bring it back and it should look absolutely sparkly shiny. So again, just take your time here. Nice light, sorry, not nice light coats, nice semi-wet coats, build it up slowly. And again, be careful you don't drop any parts or touch any, or the sticks don't get stuck to your hand. Trust me, been there and drop them. And just build it up until you're happy. And on your third coat, come in with a wetter coat to get a nice self-leveling coat. And it should look just like this, really nice and shiny. And this is how it will then dry. So these parts are looking great. There's a lot of chrome on this car. There is really quite a lot. Obviously, I opted to chrome the valve covers as well. But this rear bumper looks great. So this is the rear light I'm talking about. I can't find this rear light on any other 67 Chevelle. So if you know anything about that, let me know in the comments below. All the others have the lights at the side and not the 4 on the edge, which is a little bit odd. So that's then left to gas off and flash off for a good 4 hours. Here we are with the valve covers on the model. I'm just gluing these in place with some CA glue. And again, look absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful chrome finish. On the GM Engine Orange, they look really, really nice. Like I say, this is like almost indestructible. You can handle this to your heart's content. And that is the best protected chrome you're going to get. Look, I can rub my fingers over the top. Nothing wipes off. The finish doesn't deteriorate. There's nothing on my finger. Absolutely fantastic. Just the job, absolutely great. And this engine's going to look really good. So we're going to start assembling the engine together. Quite a nice engine, this kit, to be fair. Revell engines do tend to build up pretty well. So we've got the fuel regulator. I think that silver thing is at the front. We've got the starter motor in place. There's the oil filter going in as well. We're going to paint that later on. I should have actually painted it beforehand, but I'll be honest, I completely forgot. We've got the intake manifold on top with the carbs going on. Now, spoiler alert, I had one of the carbs upside down when I chromed it and didn't quite get as high chrome finish as I would have liked. So if it had been on its own, you wouldn't have noticed, but because it's next to the other one, it's a little bit darker, but we'll just go with it being a second-hand replacement carb on the car or something like that. Once we get the intake on top, you're not going to see it as much. So not the end of the world, just one of those things. So inlet manifold glued in place on top of the engine as well. And like I say, the chrome, you can handle this all day long. It's not going to rub off or deteriorate, which is why I love our chrome system so much. Quick test fitted engine in place to make sure it all sits well. And it does. The headers are in. All sits well in there. Happy with that. We've got the auxiliary pulleys, or the fan belt, I suppose it's called back then, with the fan, believe it or not. So that is glued in place. And we'll pop that to one side and we're going to wire the engine. So we've got one of our Pro Scale distributors here. These things are absolutely beautiful. We've got a couple left on the website, and if they sell, I'll buy a few more. We'll add them to stock. Just drilled a hole in the top. I think it's a 2.5mm hole I've drilled there. Our distributors are turned metal with a plastic body and the wires already attached. And you also get the boots on the distributor already pre-attached. And you get some bagged ones for the spark plugs as well. So there we go, with those in place. Now, I'm not going to wire this in firing order. Yes, I know some of you are going to complain because you often do. What I'm going to do is randomly mix them up so they don't look uniform. This isn't going to start. There's no fuel in it. I don't think it'll hold water, and I don't think it'll have any compression. So getting the firing order isn't the most important thing to me. I'll be honest. I know it probably is for a few of you. I'm quite happy to do it in a completely random order. And this is where I noticed that these headers, these plates, should have probably been body colour. I glued them in place and I was like, hang on, that's not right. And I was like, oh, when I looked at real pictures of the car, I was like, yeah, they should be body engine colour. So never mind, one of those things. But we're drilling through them to put the spark plug leads in. So pin vise with probably a 0.6mm drill bit, I'd say. Just trying to figure out where they go. There we go. Trying to be as precise as possible. There we go. There's our last one in place. So I'm going to show you one side and then we'll come back and I'll show you the other. I'll just show one or two go in. So cut them to length with some wire cutters. Then get your little pre-cut spark plug boot. It's included in the bag. And then carefully pop that over the end or fling it off onto the table like I did. Just to make sure you're watching that. There we go. Slide it up out of the way. Then we can get our lead in place. Make sure you leave enough on it so you can route it where you want. There we go. Just push it in. Push the boot down to where it meets. Make sure you got everything at the right length. And once you're happy, just pull it back a touch. Put a little dab of CA glue in there. A little tiny dab, does not need a lot at all. And then push it back in. Make sure the boot is straight. And there we go. There is one done. So I'm going to do the rest of this side and we'll come back in a second. There we go. There's the last one going in. Well, I think it's the second to last one actually. Quite enjoy doing this. It's quite nice to do actually. Quite an interesting part of doing it. Maybe one day I'll do them in the right firing order. But as I say, right now, it's one of the least of my concerns, definitely. And there we go, one side done. And I believe that is the other side nearly done as well. There we go. I think this is an important thing to do. I think wiring them up is a good thing to do. They look very good. Looks adds a bit more realism to it. We've got some Tamiya X11 chrome enamel paint. I'm just going to brush paint this on. More than happy just to brush paint this. But yeah, the distributors look really good. Like I say, we've got a couple left on the site, and there's a couple of 2 different colours on there. And if they sell soon, I'll add some more to the range. But you will see me using them for the foreseeable future, because I think they are some of the best I've seen out there by far. So nice careful painting, as neat as you possibly can. The coverage on the enamels is fantastic. And with putting enamels over lacquer, there's no reaction with the paint. You're not reactivating the paint underneath. Cleanup's nice and easy with some lacquer thinner. They take a bit longer to dry, so on any part you're going to be handling or not, it's not the best solution. But for parts like this, I don't need to hold the transmission at all. Once it's glued in, it'll never be touched again. So yeah, engine's looking really well there. Not bad at all. Obviously, it could always be better, but for my attempts, I'm more than happy with it. I very rarely open the bonnet on my American cars and look at the engine going, wow, it's just not me at all. I do this for you guys more than anything. So yeah, I'm happy with it though. I think it looks pretty good. And I couldn't resist a quick test fit on the wheels and tyres as well. And then I thought, you know what, let's glue them together. So make sure we've got them the right way around, a little bit of CA glue, we're going to glue them all together. And that's it, we're going to leave that video there today. Again, don't forget you can get early access on all these videos by 3 months at the minute. There's a 3-month early access on the videos because there's a sheer amount of content I've put out by becoming a patron in the link below. You also get a weekly Saturday at the Bench update every week as a patron, as well as you can be added to a Facebook Messenger chat group and a Facebook supporter group as well. And there's other perks as well as being a patron, as well as me being able to keep making these videos because of your support. So have a look in the description down below. We'll be back in part 3 soon, and a huge thanks to all my patrons whose names are going to flash up on screen.